Superhero movies have the power to amaze us with their action-packed scenes, compelling characters, and thrilling narratives. But not all of them hit the mark. From confusing plots to poorly developed characters, today we're counting down the 10 worst-written superhero movies of all time. Grab your popcorn, and let's dive into these cinematic misfires. At number 10, Justice League 2017. The idea of uniting iconic superheroes like Batman, Wonder Woman, and Aquaman was thrilling, but the execution fell flat. Weak character development, disjointed story arcs, and an underwhelming villain in Steppenwolf left audiences disappointed. The stakes never felt as intense as they should have, and the inconsistent tone hurt its potential. Behind-the-scenes drama translated into a chaotic on-screen experience that failed to do justice to DC's legendary heroes. Even the special effects received heavy criticism, especially the now infamous CGI Superman lip. Although the Snyder Cut restored some dignity, the original release remains a lesson in how not to handle a superhero team-up. At number 9, The Marvels 2023. Fans had high hopes, but this sequel turned out to be a mixed bag. Messy pacing and a lack of emotional depth made it difficult for viewers to connect with the characters. The exploration of intergalactic threats and wormhole anomalies had promise, but it was bogged down by awkward humor and clumsy storytelling. Captain Marvel deserved a more coherent narrative to showcase her true potential. The film crammed in too many subplots, leaving crucial character moments rushed or underdeveloped. Balancing the ensemble cast proved challenging, with Monica Rambeau and Miss Marvel often sidelined. What could have been an epic interstellar adventure instead became a frustrating experience. At number 8, Madam Web 2024. This movie attempted to introduce a lesser-known Marvel character, but struggled to build intrigue. The story felt rushed, with underdeveloped plotlines and forced twists that didn't deliver the intended impact. Despite its potential to explore Cassandra Webb's psychic abilities, the film barely scratched the surface, leaving viewers with more questions than answers. The supporting characters lacked depth, making their fates feel irrelevant to the overall plot. While the concept of a clairvoyant superhero navigating a web of danger sounds exciting on paper, the execution was filled with missed opportunities. Even the action sequences lacked intensity, leaving fans wondering what could have been if the writers had taken more time to craft a stronger script. At number 7, we have Catwoman 2004. And yes, it's as infamous as you remember. Not even Halle Berry's performance could save this disaster. The storyline was plagued by cliché dialogue, nonsensical character motivations, and a ridiculous cosmetics-related villain. The film's attempt to explore themes of empowerment was overshadowed by awkward pacing and subpar CGI. Even the action sequences, which should have been the movie's highlight, felt dull and uninspired. Fans were left bewildered at how such an iconic character from Batman's universe could be mishandled so poorly. Instead of portraying Selina Kyle as a complex anti-hero, the movie reduced her to a shallow character with a confusing identity crisis. It's no surprise that Catwoman is often labeled as one of the worst superhero movies ever made. At number 6, we have Fantastic Four 2015. This reboot initially excited fans, but the final product turned out to be an incoherent mess. The film's first half wasn't too bad, focusing on the team's origins, but the second half quickly spiraled into chaos. Dr. Doom, the main villain, was poorly written, and the final battle felt rushed and anticlimactic. The lack of chemistry between the characters made it difficult for audiences to connect with them, resulting in a bland and forgettable experience. Studio interference reportedly led to major scenes being cut or reshot, which contributed to the film's disjointed nature. Instead of delivering the awe-inspiring story of Marvel's first family, the movie left fans disappointed and frustrated. It's a clear example of how excessive studio involvement can derail a promising project. At number 5, we have Wonder Woman 1984, 2020. As the sequel to the beloved original, expectations were sky-high, but the film faltered due to uneven storytelling. The pacing dragged and the narrative struggled to balance its many themes. Maxwell Lord and Barbara Minerva had potential as villains, but they were overshadowed by a weak and convoluted plot. The movie's use of the magical wish plot device drew significant criticism for being lazy and inconsistent. Even Wonder Woman's heartfelt moments couldn't fully salvage a film weighed down by unnecessary subplots and questionable writing choices. While Gal Gadot's performance remained strong, the movie failed to capture the emotional depth of its predecessor. For many fans, it's a sequel they'd rather forget. At number 4, we have Kraven the Hunter, 2024. Despite its intriguing premise of exploring the origins of one of Spider-Man's iconic foes, the film lacked narrative focus. Character motivations felt forced, and the action sequences failed to compensate for the underwhelming story. Instead of delivering a dark and gritty exploration of revenge and family ties, it devolved into predictable storytelling with little emotional depth. Kraven's complex relationship with his family was only lightly touched upon, leaving a major aspect of his character underdeveloped. The film also missed the opportunity to highlight Kraven's famous rivalry with Spider-Man, something many fans were eagerly expecting. What could have been a compelling origin story instead became a generic action movie with minimal connection to its source material. At number 3, we have Morbius, 2022, a movie that aimed to combine science fiction and horror, but fell short on almost every front. Jared Leto's portrayal of the living vampire wasn't enough to save this film from its poorly paced and awkward script. The narrative was riddled with plot holes, and the villain lacked depth, making the central conflict feel dull and uninspired. Even the post-credit scenes were heavily criticized for their forced and clumsy attempt at setting up a larger cinematic universe. With lackluster action sequences and emotional moments that failed to connect, Morbius had the potential to be a dark and thrilling experience, but ended up being a bland, forgettable entry in Sony's Marvel universe. At number 2, we have Green Lantern, 2011, a film that has become a symbol of superhero movie misfires. Despite Ryan Reynolds' best efforts, the weak and predictable script dragged the entire production down. The CGI-heavy visuals were more distracting than impressive, and the main villain, Parallax, felt underdeveloped and unthreatening. The movie failed to explore the rich and fascinating Green Lantern lore that fans were hoping for, instead delivering a generic origin story devoid of excitement or charm. What could have been an epic space adventure ended up as a flat, uninspired mess, something even Ryan Reynolds continues to joke about to this day. Finally, at number 1, we have Man-Thing, 2005, a movie that many have forgotten, and not by accident. Based on Marvel's swamp-dwelling creature, this film was a failure in nearly every aspect. Its sloppy writing, low-budget special effects, and forgettable characters made it a chore to watch. Instead of capturing the eerie, atmospheric horror of the comics, the movie delivered a bland and uninspired story. The attempts at horror were unintentionally comedic, and the dialogue felt ripped from a bad B-movie. Man-Thing had the potential to be a creepy, cult classic creature feature, but instead it was buried in the swamp of poorly executed superhero films. And that wraps up our list of the worst-written superhero movies of all time. Which of these films disappointed you the most? Or is there another movie you think should have made the list? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Real and Gaming World for more superhero breakdowns and rankings. See you in the next video.